The Raptors stay on the roll they've been on. They've won now 4 straight basketball games, and they welcome in the top seed in the Eastern Conference in the Philadelphia 76ers, and they beat them 110-103 there at Amalie Arena in Florida. And with that victory, the Toronto Raptors are 1 game over 500 at 16-15, guys. It has been a long time coming for this team, but they have fought hard. They've played real well over the last little while. They've played some very good teams, and they're now above 500. And without Kyle Lowry, may I add, they've been playing some very good basketball without their court general. But Fred VanVleet has filled in admirably, and they're getting contributions from every which way. And I'm so proud of these guys for the way they're playing. Let's get to this ball game, because there was lots to get to. First quarter was not pretty. At least for the first 8 minutes, it wasn't pretty, as the Raptors were down by double digits. I mean, they were not shooting the ball well. Philly was having their way on the inside. It was not a pretty start to the game for the Toronto Raptors. And Pascal tries to take a jump shot, kind of loses the ball, and it looks like it's going to be a shot clock violation. But Fred VanVleet gets it and just absolutely hurls it up. It kind of reminded me of Kyle Lowry last year. It was last year? I think it was last year. We went kind of the overhead shot looking for the call. But even this one was off balance and kind of a chuck from Fred VanVleet. And he banks it in as the buzzer goes off. At that point in time, I mean, you're still down by quite a bit. But it's still a circus shot. You got to appreciate it. But then either 1 or 2 straight possessions down the floor for the Raptors, they get a stop. They come back. Fred, 3, knocks it down. The other possession, defensive stop. Come back. Fred, 3, drains it. And just like that, the Raptors are right back in this game. They end the quarter very strong, and they're up by 4 after 1. And a hell of a good start for the Raptors. They were terrible, first 8 minutes. They ended the quarter strong. And now you're going into the second quarter feeling real good. But in that second quarter, the Raptors kind of tail off. They don't shoot the ball extremely well. They're having a tough time defensively. Obviously, Philly's getting to the line quite a bit there in the second quarter, as they did throughout the entire game. And you're -7 in that quarter. Not pretty. You're -3 going into halftime. You're right there, though. These guys did not play a great second quarter. They were kind of back and forth. I think Philly had a decent-sized lead there in that second quarter. The Raptors cut it down to 3, but you're still trailing by 3 at the end of the first half, but you're right there. And in the third, again, Philly built up a nice little lead. They had a 10-point lead, maybe even a 12-point lead, or I think it was at least 11 at one point in time. But the Raptors, never going away. This type of mentality, never going away, never quitting on a play, never quitting on a game. And they battled back, and the Raptors were +2 in the third quarter, so you're only down by 1 going into the fourth. And then going into the fourth quarter, trailing, the Raptors are 2-13 this season. Obviously, it's not pretty. Their last game against the Timberwolves, they were trailing going into the fourth quarter. They came back, they won that game. Now, obviously, you're only down by 1 point going into the fourth, so it's really not that big of a gap, but you're still trailing going into the fourth. And in that fourth quarter, the Raptors say, all right, enough is enough. We are locking down defensively, and Chris Boucher, who had a total of goose egg, a total of zilch for points in the first half, drains double figures and feels like he can't miss from three-point range. And the Raptors win that fourth quarter 27-19. Dig in defensively, make your shots in the pick and roll, because Dwight Howard's a lazy rear end. He's a lazy, you guys can insert a word there. He's extremely lazy, clear as day. You saw it all game long. I'm glad he really has fallen off a cliff. Now, did injuries play a part? Maybe, but really, he just looks like a liability other than an offensive rebounder, maybe a rebounder in general. That's about it for Dwight Howard. And what a game for the Raptors. What a comeback, a few different times. And a couple times they looked down and out. They looked like they were having a tough time. And then somehow they got revived and they came back and won the game. There are so many things that I could talk about. And then before I get to all the stats and the numbers, I have a list of things I wanted to talk about. Free throw percentage was insane. I don't even have a percentage on here, but all I know is they got to the free throw line 35 times. Raptors got there 18 times. You know the time in the fourth quarter, the first time the Raptors got to the free throw line was OG. When he took that 3 with like a minute left. Yeah, he got to the free throw line 3 times in that possession, obviously, but that was the only time he was there. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The only time the Raptors as a team were there in the fourth quarter. Insane. 14 turnovers for the Toronto Raptors. However, a lot of those, or at least I'd say 8 to 10, were in the first half. Wasn't pretty. They were turning the ball over. Philly's like a Milwaukee type team. They will run it down your throat if you turn the ball over for them, and that's what they did today. At least in the early goings, Raptors cleaned that up, made them play mano-a-mano defense, and look what happened. All right? Now, we all yap Aaron Baines, and I will continue to do so until he stops missing bunnies on the inside. However, I gotta give the guy a ton of credit for his defense on Joel Embiid. Embiid, who's been putting up 50 points, he's averaging like 35 a game over the last like 5 or 6 games, whatever it is. He's been amazing. But Baines and the Toronto Raptors held him to 6 of 20 shooting today. Hey, he had 25, 17, and 2, but it was a very inefficient 25, 17, and 2. 6 of 20. Boucher's fourth quarter, guys, I mean, he was unbelievable. He single-handedly got this team that big lead in that fourth quarter. He drained like back-to-back threes. He had the giant block on Joel Embiid in that fourth quarter. Came down the other side of the floor, drained a 3. He was fantastic. And another thing I wanted to bring up is the way the Raptors handled the key guys on the Philadelphia 76ers. Not just Joel Embiid. Yeah, Ben Simmons had his way. He was great tonight. But Seth Curry, 4 of 12. Tobias Harris, getting a stupid amount of money, shot 6 of 17, and you really didn't see him out there. So the Raptors did one hell of a job against their great players. I wouldn't say Seth Curry's a great player, but he's a very solid player. You're forcing these other guys to beat you. The Shaq Miltons, the Thybulls. You're forcing these guys to beat you. And they're not going to do that. Also, another thing I wanted to bring up before I get to the Raptors stats, Simmons and Embiid combined for 28 free throws. The Raptors as a team shot 18. I understand those guys live in the paint, and Ben Simmons literally built a mansion in the paint. He doesn't even know what the outside is. But Joel Embiid, look, they were getting a lot of helpful whistles today, and the Raptors only had 18 free throws. Something to look at in the next game, because in game 1, the Raptors played against Philly. It was kind of that same narrative. So we'll have to see what happens in the next one against Philly, which is actually on Tuesday at 7:30. Now, let's get to the Raptors numbers, all right? Field goal percentage, 49%. Beautiful. They had their way. Great job. 41% from 3. Fantastic. They held Philly 39% from the field and 30% from 3. Fantastic defense for the Toronto Raptors all game long. Look, Philly's rank offense is 8th in the NBA, averaging over 115 a game. Raptors held them to 103. They held Milwaukee to the lowest point total of the season. The Raptors' defense is clicking. And it took long enough, but they're finally doing it. Pascal Siakam, 23 points, 8 boards, 8 dimes. What a night for Spicy P. 8 of 18 from the field, 6 of 6 from the line. Not the prettiest numbers there, but 23, 8, and 8. I mean, you just can't go wrong with that. Fantastic game for Pascal. Fred VanVleet, a lot of the points were whatever the heck the word is, brought up because of that first quarter barrage that Fred VanVleet had. 23 points, 5 boards, 9 assists on 7 of 15 shooting, 5 of 10 from 3, had a steal and a denial in the game. I think 3 or 4 of those threes happened in that first quarter alone. That's what I'm talking about. But a hell of a game for Fred VanVleet, moving the ball, making big shots. Great game for Freddie V. And a guy that we don't talk about a whole lot, DeAndre Bembry. The guy, he's been starting since Kyle Lowry's been out, which is, 3 games now? Maybe, has he been starting longer? I think it's at least 3 games. And he's been sound. He's been really sound back there. Look, listen to this, guys. He played 19 minutes. He had 8 points, 4 boards, couple dimes. He shot 4 of 4 and was a plus 10. There's nothing to be upset about there. He was sound defensively. He made shots. He didn't miss a shot. And he was a plus player on the floor in double figures. So hell of a job for DeAndre Bembry. Now we talked about Norman Powell having an off night. First off night for Norman Powell in quite some time. 11 points, 2 boards, 1 assist on 3 of 11 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3. It was a minus 26 while Norman was on the floor. So he had a rough night, but again, you expect the guy to bounce back in the next one, and that's against Philly again. So he would really want to bounce back in the next one against the 76ers. OG, sound game for him. 10 points, 6 boards, 1 dime. 4 of 6 from the field, was minus 13 on the floor, but again, with they had some tough stretches out there. But overall, 10, 6, and 1, shot 4 of 6. Look, he didn't take a lot of shots. Well, yeah, when Siakam's draining 23, Fred's got 23, and Powell takes a lot of shots as of late because he's been hot, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with OG not taking many shots, especially when he's struggling from three-point range. It's understandable. Aaron Baines, as I mentioned, the bunnies inside kill me, but he had 8 points, 5 boards, shot 4 of 9. Again, a lot of those misses were bunnies on the inside. Was a plus 11 on the floor. Tells you the defensive job that he did against Joel Embiid. You got to give Baines credit for that. He was really good on the defensive end today, guys. He really was. And Chris Boucher was fantastic. 17 points, 5 boards, 1 assist. Shot 6 of 8. Was 5 of 6 from three-point range. And as I mentioned, he didn't have a point in the first half. He was electric in the second half. And Terrence Davis, very sound off the bench. 8 points, 4 boards, 3 dimes. Had 2 steals as well. And one play that was real. I really liked one of his assists to DeAndre Bembry was when they were in the fast break. And Davis was driving right to the rim with Bembry beside him. Terrence Davis of a little while ago would have just passed it right away and Bembry would have fouled or he would have missed the shot or he would have offensive foul, whatever the case may be. But Terrence Davis went right at the defense, baited them all to him, then dished to Bembry. Nice, easy slam. It's those small things that really get noticed for Terrence Davis. And over the last couple of games, since the whole case got dismissed for him, he's been really solid. Yeah, shooting the ball, he was 3 of 8 from the field today. I think he was 2 of 6 from 3. Struggled there, but he made an impact. And that's what you love to see from TD2 and the bench. The bench did a job today, guys. Baines 8 and 5 off the bench. Boucher 17 and 5. Terrence Davis 8, 4 and 3. They did a job off the bench. And your starters, they did work, all right? So great game all around for the Toronto Raptors. Now, the next contest, as I mentioned, is 7:30 on Tuesday night against this same Philadelphia 76ers team. You know they're going to want to beat you after tonight's game. But remember, the Raptors, they're playing so good right now. It's going to be very interesting to watch that game and see how it all plays out. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the game this evening, because it was awesome, smack the like button. I do appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game. What'd you like? What'd you not like from today's game? Guys, your MVP in today's game, who would you give it to? Would you give it to Fred? Would you give it to Boucher's fourth quarter barrage? Would you give it to Pascal Siakam at 23, 8, and 8? Would you give it to a team effort? What would you give it to for the Toronto Raptors? Who's your MVP in this one? All right, Twitter's down below for myself. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff, guys. The Instagram link is down below as well, so follow up there if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow as they take on the Calgary Flames at Scotiabank Arena. I'm pretty sure 7 p.m. puck drop. I'm pretty sure. All right, so it's crazy when you have so many sports going on. You forget what game is next. You're so worried about this one team, this one game, you forget about the other one. I think it's a 7 o'clock puck drop there against the Calgary Flames tomorrow. The Leafs look to continue their winning ways and continue to play extremely good hockey as of late. And can Austin Matthews continue to build on his goal total? We'll have to wait and see tomorrow night. And as for the Raptors, as we mentioned, they take on the Philadelphia 76ers tomorrow. Nope. On Tuesday night, 7:30 tip-off there at Scotiabank Arena. Raptors looking for win number 5 in a row. And with the win today and the Celtics loss today, the Raptors have jumped the Celtics for 5th in the Eastern Conference. Crazy stuff, all right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys saw the video. We'll talk to you guys then.